LaMelo Ball is the current frontrunner for Rookie of the Year, and it looks likely he will become a franchise player for the Charlotte Hornets. Basketball is moving towards having one or two, what I would refer to as Swiss Army knives. Basically, a bigger guard who is able to do everything. Score, make plays, play solid defense, and help the team, most importantly, get a lot of W's. Luka Doncic is a great example, and I believe LaMelo is moving towards that territory. The key with LaMelo is that he already has the intangibles. He has a great NBA frame, being 6'6" and really long. He loves the game of basketball, and he works really hard. There is no doubt in my mind he'll be a future NBA star. He has finally made it into the starting lineup for the previous 4 games, and I hope this is for the remainder of the season. In his 4 starts, he is nearly shooting 50-40-90, which is really impressive for LaMelo.
The breakdown.
The first thing I want to discuss is how Melo plays with such great pace. Pace referring to the ability to change speeds and levels. Off of this Bridges screen, he hits Westbrook with a great hesitation. He slows down, and he uses his eyes to sell a pass to what Russell Westbrook thinks is a popping Bridges, before extending forward and attacking downhill. Melo sets up screens really well. He attacks Bojan with 2 quick dribbles before just relaxing and releasing the ball slowly before exploding into the screen. He then quickly skips into this floater, giving the defense 0 chance to contest. Again, he sets up Joe into the screen with a quick heavy step, slowly extending his leg forward before exploding and then snaking. He waits till Biz is rolling with him before exploding, putting pressure on Favors to drop back before quickly shooting the floater. On the side pick and roll, Melo uses a between the legs bound before exploding into the step up screen. Favors high switches this, and Melo uses his little side step to create some space before he fades and splashes this insane 3. Melo again sets up Donovan really well for this early offense drag screen. Note how Melo is always slightly leant forward. This is a huge key for setting up screens, as it allows for quicker explosion. The defender is never exactly sure when the screen is coming, as you are always in an explosive stance, leant forward, ready to go, rather than standing up and then getting low. Starting low with your hips hinged puts pressure on the defense, as you are milliseconds away from exploding into a screen or just straight up attacking. The Jazz switch the screen here, and Melo hits his signature speed stop exchange into some reverse steps for the 3. Melo being a 6'6" guard, he has great length and uses this to finish over defenders. He put a clinic on versus the Jazz, using his length and athleticism to finish over Rudy in this clip, getting up, keeping the ball high before slightly readjusting for the finish. The Jazz have a bunch of smaller guards, which Melo dominated. In this pin down to pick and roll, Melo was able to extend past and around O'Neal, who to be fair played great defense, but Melo's length allowed for the finish. Again, Melo attacks the pick with a heavy step, before attacking downhill aggressively, keeping the ball high before finishing away from the defense. Melo has also mastered the delayed between the legs, where he sells he is going to use a screen to his left with a delayed between the legs before utilizing a push cross downhill, throwing the ball out and attacking. He then uses his body to bump into Oni before taking a step around and using his length to float the ball over him and into the basket. Versus Korkmaz on ISO, he uses the same move into the floater, and I think Korkmaz shows exactly how most people feel guarding Melo. Melo also has a deep bag of tricks that he uses when Charlotte gets him into actions, such as this get action, where he uses an inside hand release off of the handoff to get tighter and downhill faster before flowing into an inside hand finish, finishing underneath Conley's arm. LaMelo, to no surprise, has excelled at making plays, in both transition, like this behind the back to Bridges for the insane windmill, or using his elite pace and control and pick and roll to find this wraparound pass to Biz for the dunk. It is no surprise that LaMelo's playmaking has been elite so far in the NBA, as it was something he was always well known for. But let's dive deep. Miami tried to blitz Melo in pick and roll, meaning both players involved just straight up double teams him. However, LaMelo's length allowed him to see over the defense, here just passing over the double team to find Hayward for 3, or in this clip, where he throws the beautiful hook pass through the double team. Note how he controls the double with his pace, handling pressure extremely well, just taking his time until the passing lane opens, and then throwing it through on the money. Again, here Washington tries to double him on the side pick and roll, but he just jumps up, hangs in the air until Bridges is open and he finds him for the easy basket. A key skill Melo possesses is his ability to read defensive rotations to find openings, and the scary part is that he's only getting better. Here he reads that Martin's man Bradley stunts over, and Melo draws Bradley completely over until Bradley takes a swipe before passing. This is a key detail, as passing any earlier would have been a great stunt by Bradley as he would have recovered, and passing later could have resulted in a turnover. He also has a layup and flob game, floater and layup lob. This one is most impressive, beating his man before he fakes exactly how he would do a layup. Then it appears he just kinda squeezes the ball so tight it slips out of his hand perfectly to Zeller. Not really sure how he did this, but wow. In the DHO with Zeller, he again gets all the way in the air as if he was going to shoot a layup, which gets Gobert to jump and contest before he just dumps it off nicely to Zeller. Same thing here, he creates the advantage in ISO and fakes the I'm going to extend over you and finish layup before just dumping it off to Zeller. As discussed further later on in the video, LaMelo not only makes great plays, but he has brought a culture to Charlotte of ball movement and making great plays, which has resulted in them currently leading the league in assists. A big knack coming into the draft was his shooting ability, which, to be fair, was very inconsistent in the NBL. As stated in my Tyrese Halliburton breakdown, there is this weird thought in the basketball community that everything must be perfect. LaMelo has a few weird things that he does when he shoots, such as bringing the ball up with his elbows out, and his legs seem to have a mind of their own when he jumps. But his form and mechanics are actually really good, just inconsistent as we will look at. In this clip, he moves the ball before his body, which puts both of his big levers, arms and legs, underneath the ball, meaning he has great energy transfer into the basketball. The exact same thing happens. He's able to move the basketball before his body before extending completely into his jumper. I think a huge positive that Melo has is he's able to adjust in mid-air, regardless of the shot. Here we see him slightly fade, but remain controlled to get the shot off. I think the issue is Melo seems to adjust sometimes when he doesn't actually need to, as he does in this catch and shoot, where he adjusts to get the shot off super fast when he doesn't exactly need to. The biggest weakness that I see in his game is he often plays too fast, which we will dive into shortly. In this clip, his length allows him to shoot over the defender, after hitting Donovan with the up fake and jab before moving the ball before his body, extending and hitting over Donovan. Another thing is that his actual release is really consistent and looks solid. The issue is more in how he gets the ball there, often moving the ball as he extends his body rather than before. I think this is probably due to his basketball upbringing. He always played with the basketball in his hands rather than cutting off pin downs and flares. He has solid form, so his ability to take this type of shot will develop over time. As stated, Melo plays way too fast sometimes, not getting balanced on finishes or trying to push the pace when he doesn't need to. I think a key addition to Melo's game would be some basic up and unders and other post moves. Luka Doncic does a great job at this, and I'm sure we've all seen this clip versus Bam. It's not like Melo doesn't have this in his game. Here he does it versus Seth Curry. But the point remains, can he do this versus bigs, rather than always trying to extend and jump away, which doesn't always work. He also sometimes goes full balls to the wall ISO, here trying to finish against 4 players instead of taking the easy dump off pass, and this clip where he just for some random reason flows into an ISO. To me, LaMelo is the best when he's able to grab rebounds, push the pace, and when he does play in half court, playing out of pick and roll with athletic bigs like Bridges, rather than being an all-out ISO guy. The Hornets are currently leading the league in assists, tied with the Grizzlies at 21.8 assists per game, up 5 from last year. Bringing in a guy like Melo, who is always willing to move the ball, creates a culture of ball movement, and I think this is a big reason for their current success. The Hornets pace has also increased by a crazy amount. The Hornets have adopted a fast-paced, semi-chaotic playstyle, throwing in some zone looks here and there to maximize on the young athletic players who are always willing to run. LaMelo Ball will definitely be a franchise player for an NBA team in the future, hopefully the Charlotte Hornets. His combination of intangibles that can't be taught, his skill and ability to read the game at his current stage is insane, considering he has barely played much high-level basketball, only playing 12 games in the NBL and playing in low-level Lithuania when he was in high school. He has so much more to learn and develop. As he grows into his body and learns the league, we are definitely looking at someone who could be a league MVP in future. He is my current Rookie of the Year, and I think Tyrese Halliburton is second. Check out my breakdown on him right here. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed, see you on the next one.